Hey, how's it going everyone? This is the Anime Man. So knowing that quite a large percentage of you guys are that of the female species, and presuming that most of you that fall under the female species are that of the otaku kind, because if you're not one of them, then I don't know why you're watching my channel, but thank you anyway. Regardless, even if you're not a female viewer, but you are of the otaku kind, then I am sure that the majority of you would be aware of the term described in today's video. Yaoi. Everybody's favorite yaoi. I've always found that word synonymous to an overly zealous, like, cowboy wannabe. Yaoi! Now suffice it to say, I've explored the wonderfully wacky world of yaoi through multiple videos on my channel, including watching some rather cringy yaoi with some friends, or even going as far as to actually go and purchase some yaoi for myself and reading it on camera. But from what I've seen, there are still many people who don't quite know the word, whether it be because they are new to this whole anime world that they are involved in, or they haven't really gone out of their way to explore what exactly it is, even if they have heard it from somewhere or not. I mean, hey, I don't blame you. It is kind of scary to just go out in search of uncharted seas in a rowboat. So today in this video, I'm going to hopefully clear up all of the misconceptions and wrongdoings and hopefully answer this in a concise and clear way. What exactly is yaoi? First of all, let's cover the basics by going over the definition. Simply put, yaoi is a genre of Japanese fictional works involving the sexual relationships and sexual acts of men. If I gotta spell it out for you using common language, then it's gay porn shit. Now, I'm sure most of you are well aware of that simple fact, probably having heard of it from a little internet phenomenon known as Boku no Pique. Because at this point, I think that abomination has made its rounds well enough. But what if I told you that Boku no Pique is technically not a yaoi? Say what? To begin with, did you know that the word yaoi is actually an acronym? If we write yaoi in Japanese, it looks like this. And the word is actually an acronym for Yamanashi, Ochinashi, Iminashi. And if you're wondering, no, it has nothing to do with nashi pairs in any way. That's a whole other Japanese lesson for another day. This phrase is literally translated in English to no climax, no punchline, no meaning. I will argue though that yaoi is generally nothing but reaching a climax, but let's save the shitty euphemisms for just a second. Now, before I move on as to why exactly yaoi stands for that, we gotta first cover the three types of BL, or boys love. Boys love being a genre of anime which encompasses, have a fucking guess. The first type of BL is, unsurprisingly, yaoi, which I gave the definition for before. The second type is a thing called shonen-ai, which literally translates to boys love. How convenient. The biggest difference between shonen-ai and yaoi is that while yaoi deals with the more adult and sexual themes of gay boys loving each other, shonen-ai is a lot more pure in that it focuses more on the relationships and the actual growth and romantic elements of boys loving each other. The most sexual that a shonen-ai manga or anime will go to is maybe two boys kissing. Whereas with yaoi, let's just say they kiss more than the lips. Think of shonen-ai as the all-ages version of yaoi, which probably explains why yaoi is exceedingly more popular than shonen-ai, you perverted fucks. Having known this now, it can also be put to explain the acronymized meaning of the term yaoi. The word was created in the 70s as a euphemism for the content, and refers to how yaoi, as opposed to the more difficult to understand shonen-ai, focuses on the yummy parts. By the way, I wrote none of that last sentence I just said. If you go to the Wikipedia page of yaoi, it's right fucking there word for word. Like, who wrote this shit? Now, yaoi and shonen-ai are more targeted at a female audience for the young girls to A, fangirl over cute boys getting lovey-dovey with each other, or B, getting off to some really gay fat material. But there is actually a third type of BL that not a lot of non-yaoi experts are aware of. Which is pretty much the same as yaoi in that it explores sexual and adult themes, but instead aimed towards a gay male audience. Having known that, it probably makes sense why it's called bara, bara being the Japanese word for rose. Because while it may look elegant, that thorn is spiky as fuck. And the biggest reason why bara isn't as known as widely over in the West is because it involves a lot more of a hardcore gay sexual agenda. And because of that, a lot of Western publishers are having quite a bit of difficulty to accept it from Japan. In other words, while Japanese publishers have little to no problem with publishing that kind of rather quote-unquote controversial content, surprisingly, the West isn't all that big on the idea. Wow. I never could have guessed. There are also subgenres of yaoi such as shoten-ai, which is essentially yaoi but involving prepubescent boys, which, going back to earlier in the video, is technically what Boku no Pico is. Yes, it is yaoi, but technically it is a subgenre of yaoi called shoten-ai. Hey man, I just want to convey the proper information, okay? I don't want any misinformation going about. And now at this point, if you are new to this channel or you don't know a whole lot about me, you might be thinking to yourself one thing. Joey, why do you have no problems talking about yaoi and making videos on yaoi and all that gay shit? Like, seriously, what are you, fucking gay or something? And to that I say, no, you dumb piece of shit. I'm just very comfortable with my sexuality and don't cringe over something petty like two dudes going chocolate highway cowboy on each other's asses. I've had my fair share of Reddit and 4chan, guys. Gay porn is the least of my worries now. And to be honest, as much as I am quite a heterosexual male who loves the ladies, loves the boobs, loves the pussy, and don't exactly go out of my way to go watch or read yaoi, shonen-ai, or butter anime and manga, I can and am allowed to appreciate where all of this is coming from. I actually think it's kind of cool that Japan is able to take this rather quote-unquote controversial subculture and turn it into a rather international phenomenon. It just goes to show that concerning things like anime and manga and other fictional works, there really is no boundary that can't be crossed. Not to mention the yaoi subculture is a great way for both homosexual and heterosexual males and females to bond together in, which not only pleases the now ever-growing LGBT community, but is also kind of a big middle finger to things like censorship and homophobia, which is something that I can get behind on. I mean, even though the yaoi fandom and subculture isn't exactly as evident and clear as the anime and manga community and subculture, it's still relevant and quite a big thing. I mean, there are now entire conventions dedicated to yaoi and BL. I mean, how fucking cool is that? It's just cool to know now that these otherwise quote-unquote controversial things are now embraced by a lot of people, and even though you might not be exactly into it, I think it's kind of a cool thing to at least acknowledge. Now, if you are watching this video and are of the homophobic kind and have a disgusting look on your face right now, then that's fine. Just know that you're an insensitive little cunt. And I'm not saying in any way that every heterosexual dude who is watching this video should go out and start reading and watching these yaoi, shonen-ai, and butter manga and anime. I mean, as much as I'm okay with talking about it on video and maybe occasionally reacting to a Boku no Pico every now and then, it's certainly not my cup of tea. But I think this kind of information is not exactly a bad or pointless thing to know. Because trust me, if you know this information and you're okay with the BL thing and you're not an oversensitive prick about it, girls will love you for it.
Think of this video as the fastest way to get otaku pussy. You're welcome.
So guys, I hope you learned any new or interesting things in this video. I have done a few more of these What Exactly Is series, covering terms like otaku, weeaboo, and lolis. So if you'd like to check all of those out, then I've left all 3 links in the description below. And if there are any other terms that you'd like me to expand and explain in videos like this, then make sure to follow me on Twitter, because that's probably the best way to reach your ideas across to me. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. As always, like and favorite if you enjoy, subscribe for more anime banner, and I'll see you guys next video, whatever I make. Keep watching anime.